Welcome everyone to our Tricks and Treats with Sew Steady. I'm Donelle McAdams and Megan's along with me tonight. And we have decorated up our little sewing area here so that we feel like we're out kind of trick-or-treating. We're going to get the camera here stabilized in just a second so that we can see. And I'm going to put up a piece of paper that just tells you the project requirements for fabric here tonight so that you can write those down. This is the little piece of information that you're going to want to have if you're going to do the project later. And as promised, we are going to be giving away 22 giveaways tonight. Woo! All right. So you will want to make sure your name is over there by commenting and letting us know where you're from. Now, if you are a winner, we'll announce this again at the end, but if you are a winner, you will need to email me and let me know your mailing address so we can get these to you. So I will put up a little bit more details, but this is what the candle mat that we're going to make tonight. This is the fabric that you're going to need. But we have some things to show you before that. So I want to get started here by showing you a quilt that as Megan and I were pulling out stuff to decorate tonight, it was almost embarrassing because she pulled out this quilt and said, "Mom, look at this." And I was like, no, that's embarrassing because it's from way back when I knew nothing about quilting and all of that kind of, template quilting and all of that. And so it had like no quilt, it's a panel, and it had like no quilting on it at all. And I said, that is perfect because tonight I am excited to introduce to you my background fills template set. Now, it's not ready for shipping yet. It's supposed to be next week, but I want to get this to show you so that you can understand why I'm so excited about it, and you'll get it on your list. So as soon as we can release it, which like I said will be next week, you will be able to get it. So I'm going to show you this quilt. And you can't laugh, okay? Now, I can't hear you anyway. But this was just a panel print that says, "The party is here." I don't know if you can see all of that, but there, "The party is here." And it looks like all that we did was like a straight line of quilting across there, and then came down and maybe put a few things around, like the bat was quilted around and nothing else. But I started on this and I only spent about 15 minutes and I quilted half of it with one of my background fill templates. So I am surely going to tell you that they are fast and easy to use. So as you can see on this side, there's a background fill there of circles and lines. So you can see that they are in some sort of a path, and you would think, oh my gosh, we're going to have to do a ton of measuring and matching, and it's not that way at all. The only line we need is the one that I put dead center. So I put that down the middle, and I'm going to show you how that's the only line that I would need. So I've done the left half, and I'm going to show you how I did the right half. So this is, Megan, you want to hand me that black cardboard? I've already set my machine up. This is what the template looks like. Now this is the very first one. It doesn't have any logo on it, doesn't have any signage or anything, so that will all be on there. But you can see that there are quite a few lines, and those are going to help you line everything up. So we have a circle, and then we have the channel so that we can do the straight lines, and there's a little opening here to get from one place to the other. Now this circle happens to be a 2-inch circle because all of these templates in this background fills, there's 4 of them, are designed to be able to be used together, so they all set up with a 2-inch configuration, I guess is the best way to say it. So what I'm going to do is these are a 1/2 inch apart. So when I'm using this to go from one to the other, this is the spot that I will line up on. And I will stitch down to here, and then I will move it into the circle and do the circle and then repeat. So I want to show you how easy that is to do. Megan's over here busy writing your names in so that you're going to get into the drawing. So remember to comment and let us know you're out there.
So if I don't get to your question right away, it's because I'm busy writing names.
Okay, well, you keep watching the questions too. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be starting right on this green line, but I need to know where I'm going to start. So I'm lining up the outer edge of the template because this is 2 inches from that edge. And so once I line that up, I'm going to push this up because that's the line, 1/2 inch, inch, 1.5 inches, 2 inches, and I'm going to set that right down in there. And I will show you all of these and how they work here before we're finished this evening. I'm going to pull up this thread. And I'm going to go ahead and put that foot back down and that needle down. And because this is kind of a busy quilt, all I'm going to do rather than secure it by tying it in a knot is I'm just going to come a few stitches forward and go a few stitches back. And then the first thing that I'm going to be doing with this one is I am going to do the circle. So I'm going to pass through that little spot. I'm going to line up here on the side. I'm going to do the circle. And I'm going to stop at the bottom. I'm going to slide forward, open up, and go through that little grid there. And instead of doing this way, like turning it around, I'm pulling it so that this will actually stop me. So I've got my needle lined up with that 2-inch line. And I'm going to just stitch till it stops. Now I am pushing to one side or the other. It doesn't matter which one, but I'm pushing to one side or the other. I come through, and now I'm going to do my circle. You'll notice that I go 1.5 times so that I can just simply keep moving right on down my line. Line up on this side, line up my needle with that. Someone just said, what template is that? This is the brand new, I'm just introducing, this is my background fill set. This happens to be the circle one. And I'm going to lift up my foot, pass through that little spot, do my next circle. And you don't have to have anything other than this original straight line to be able to keep everything lined up because of the way I have had the template designed. And you will get your circles in a diagonal pattern, as you can see coming up right here. I think you can see it better here than you could back there, how these circles are lined up in a diagonal pattern. So straight line, line that up. Pick one side to push towards because there is a little bit of play, not a lot. And then all I do is push that up. I'm lined up over here. Stop at the bottom. Go clear back up to the top. There's my line. I'm lined up on this side with my previous row of stitching, or originally that was simply a line that I had drawn. And the whole reason that I wanted a set of templates like this was because I was tired of having just an option for cross hatching. I wanted something more that was an all-over print, or template I should say, design, and I didn't have anything really to work with. And so that's why I came up with this set of templates. And I'm absolutely having a blast with them, and I certainly hope you will too.
And Sue and Kathy said you make it look so easy.
Well, it is super, super easy, and let me tell you, this is not a very well constructed quilt to begin with. It is older than the hills, but Megan and I just happened to find it. Now, in this case, I'm at the very bottom, and I am going to be moving over 2 inches. So I'm going to turn it around. There's a half, 1 inch, 1.5, 2 inches. And so now I'm just right in line with where my binding, because remember I said this is already finished. And all I'm going to do is push that way. And in this case, I am going to be doing a circle first, but not a whole one, because of the way this is lined up. So I'm going to be lining up the line that goes across the top with the bottom. And I know right now you're thinking, what in the world? This is the way I can keep everything even. So I'm going to come over to the side, go around, and stop right here. And I'm going to be going the other way. So I'm going to turn this around, line it up on this side. Now, I can turn this whole quilt around, but a lot of people like to know, how would you do this if this was a big quilt and you couldn't turn it around? So I'm showing you right now, this goes both ways so that I can keep those diagonals going. You can see right here, these circles are going in a diagonal there.
Barbara Anderson wants to know, is this on the website yet?
It is not on there yet. It will be next week. This is the treat. This is the introduction this week. And we had hoped it would make it, but we had too many things going on. And so we didn't get the packaging ready. So it should be ready next week.
So we just need to think of it as the trailer before the movie, right?
Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and show you going back up here, because I want you to realize that you can do this without turning that around. So I'm coming up through here. I'm lining this up on this side. That's the previous stitching. That's the beauty of this, and why I love these templates is because I only really need one line to start with, and that's for all of them. Now, you can do this many different ways. I'm just showing you as if they were the simple basic, this is what you're going to do with it. I've got a couple of samples to show you here in a minute that are a little variation.
Sharon wants to know, do we have a price yet for these?
The answer for that would be not yet.
Not yet. That's what I thought.
But
They're liking this because they've done this before with one of the templates, but this makes it so much
oh my
easier.
gosh, it is so much faster and easier, because I've done it too by doing part and then taking it off and using a straight line, and this just makes it go so much faster. And I think you're going to love the shapes I've got for you. So I've got just a few more here, and you can see I'm lining up. I think I got to go one more.
Bet missed what you called them.
These are called the background fills, and they will be with the name SewBiz on them, because that's my store name rather than my name. And like I said, we're hoping for next week. Oh.
And I know you're going to show them later, but Judy wants to know how many come in the set.
There are 4 in the set. And so I'm just almost there, and we will show the set. But again, for those of you that joined us late, this is a super old quilt that is way before I knew anything about template quilting, and it's almost embarrassing to show it to you. This, I'm going to take it and I'm going to go across 2 inches, and then I would start back down. So you can see how that works and how easy that is. So I'm going to go ahead and just cut this thread right now. I'll finish that off later. But trust me, if I could show you all this, this looks so much better now after it has been quilted in that background. And I surely didn't want to do just cross-hatching on it. And so this is making it look so much better. Now I'm going to flip this over. Oh my goodness, Megan had to go get a bigger container for the names. So this is what the back looks like, and you can see how we've got those circles going in diagonals.
So to answer Sue's question, she said, would you use this on a large quilt? And
yes, you obviously could, and that's the beauty of having something different than just a cross-hatching. So Megan, do you want to hand me those samples over there?
Yes, because Patsy wants to know what the other shapes are. So here they come.
All right, so I'm going to show you the templates first. I've lost my black piece.
Oh, I have it. I'm sorry.
There we go. So this is what's called the rounded diamond. This one is a pointed oval. And this one is just an oval. And the one I had that I was using is the circle. So they all have the same top to bottom spacing, not side to side, but top to bottom, so that you could intermix these. So if you wanted to, have different shapes together, you could, and the spacing would be the same. Now, I've got these done in the very basic, the way I intended them to be, so that you can see what they stitch out like. So this is the pointed oval. This is the pointed oval. This is the circle. So again, if I turn it this way, you can see how those line up. Yes, this was my design. I think somebody asked that. Yes, it was my design. This is the rounded diamond. So you can see how that one works. And again, when I turn them, you can see how they line up. And I'm just super excited to have something for my backgrounds. And this is the one that is just the oval.
Kathy wants to know, will they be able to be used on a long arm?
Yes, because they will be available in the long arm thickness. Now the fun of these is going to be all the things that we can do going forward with them. And so this is one that is the circles. And so rather than having them so that they are offset and alternating, I just did circles. However, because I had the tool, it was very easy to keep them so that you ended up getting them close just like this. So you got that little pattern going in there. So I can see this as being on a 6-inch border if you wanted to, or even a 4-inch border. So this was very easy to do, again, because of having the length here and being able, even though I didn't sew in that, I was just moving this up and down. It's because of all of those lines I was able to get these very much lined up. And you'll notice down here on the bottom, it starts with a half a circle here. So these again are the background fills. This is a set. This is our treat, and we're giving you the introduction tonight. They will be available next week, and super fun to do. I'm going to show you our project here, and then we're actually going to do that. So this is the supplies that I've used for this candle mat. So the front fabric is 13 by 18. The backing, and I'm going to be bringing the binding to the front, is 18 by 22. The batting, which I actually used a fusible, so you can either use a fusible or you can use just batting, or you can use a fusible batting, is 13 by 18, and that's fused to the wrong side of this piece. And then I just used a 40 weight thread. So I want to show you our finished project, and then we'll get started with it. So this is the finished project. You could use this as a placemat if you wanted to make a whole set. But we have used the rounded diamond in the background. And then we have cut out with our AccuQuilt leaves that are all batiks, which means they are very closely woven. And we used regular weight heat and bond, so we did not have to stitch them down. Now, if you want to stitch those down, that's perfectly fine, but don't use the heavyweight heat and bond. I did this because I'm planning, like I said, to use it as a candle mat, so I probably won't be in a situation of washing it a lot, and I didn't want to take the time to go around all of those leaves. So you can see we've got 2 leaves up there in the background, in the upper corner also. So
they are loving those leaves.
Awesome. And we had a blast picking the colors. And so what we're going to do is 10 sets of those 5 leaves are going to come out to 10 of you. So you're going to receive in the mail a little packet of pre-cut, pre-fused, like I say, lick and stick leaves, so that you'll be able to make your own. So this is what that set will look like. And you will have those leaves to arrange as you like on your mat. So we're going to be giving away 10 of those. Let's give away one right now, Megan.
All right, reach in and pull out a name.
All right, you guys look at this bucket. She went and got a bigger bucket to put all the names in. She had one, and then she got a bigger one.
You got too full.
All right, Regina Rooks, you win the first set of leaves. Just write leaves on the back of that so we know to get her a set of leaves. So we're going to get started with this so you can see how quickly this goes. So I've got my piece here, and the top one's the one that's 13 by 8, and I have centered it on top of the, or 13 by 18, sorry. I've centered it on top of the 18 by 22. And I have put a line right at 9 inches all the way to the top. And because this is 13 inches, and I know that my pattern is in 2-inch increments, I planned it that way so that I have a 1/2 inch down here so that I have a margin to travel across. Because the way I'm going to show you to do this, I'm going to be showing you how you turn this from the back to the front, and you can see how nice that looks across the bottom, because we planned it that way. All right?
So the question has come, if you don't use heat and bond and you are planning to stitch around them, what would you use?
I would use the heat and bond light. So just don't use the regular weight heat and bond. You guys, I look over here at my daughter and she's dressed as a cat.
It's Halloween! I dressed up!
She dressed up. So she's dressed as a cat, got ears. I might have to show you her in a little bit.
Oh, no.
She's got that makeup going too for those cat eyes. I don't know if she's planning to go trick-or-treating or not. But anyway.
I don't know, I might have too much fun here.
Oh yeah, okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start right here in the middle. So we're going to come over here. And I am going to start at the bottom. And in this case, I have pretty much matched because I want the quilting, but I don't necessarily need to see those stitches. Now, if you wanted to, you obviously could. So I'm coming right at the intersection of those lines, and I am putting my needle down there. And the first one I'm going to do is the shape. So I'm simply going to take that template. I got a long thread here I got to get rid of. I'm going to take this template and I am going to raise my foot with my needle down, and that's the whole idea of this. I've raised the foot, I'm pushing it through, and right here it's lined up. Now for you to see what I'm looking at and what makes it easier, I'm going to turn that around because we are going to be putting the line straight down the middle of that opening. So now I'm going to stitch around 1.5 times and stop right there. So around I go, and I stop back here. That's the way we lift it up. I'm turning this around now because remember, I'm going to sew until it stops. So right here, just so it's easier for you guys to see, I'm going to get out a ruler sticker. And I have another treat to tell you about, and that is that Sew Steady now has these on their website.
Woohoo!
So you can get ruler stickers right there at Sew Steady, unless, of course, your local shop carries them. So I am pushing my template against my foot, and I'm lined up. I want to show you down here. There's a line coming out that I'm lined up down here. So I'm lined up there, I'm lined up here, I stitch, and that's 2 inches because that's been measured for you. Pull that up, continue to line this up.
They want to see the cat. We'll have to see.
Oh, okay. We got 3 cats now, I guess. So I'm coming down to this, lift up, line up, right here. Lift up. Come on down to that green arrow there so it's lined up. And right here, if you were dead set on top of that, you could see that's lined up too. So I'm going to stop right on that line. I'm going to turn this just because you need to see what I'm doing. And I'm going to come across on that line because that's going to be underneath my binding. No one will ever see that. And so now, again, we are going to be doing this first. And over here, it lines up right with the line that we just worked off of, so I don't have to do any more marking. I can keep it nice and straight. I'm going to pull forward, lift up, go to that little spot right there. Again, maybe you got a design you only want to go 1 inch apart instead of 2 inches. It's your choice.
They want to know, will these be available in Australia?
I would assume so. That hasn't been discussed, but I don't know why they wouldn't. Other templates from Sew Steady are, so I would imagine that they will be. But please give me your feedback. I hope you're as excited about them as I am because, like I said, I got tired of doing just cross-hatching on my backgrounds. And you can use this in a lot of your projects, your bags, or whatever you're using and have a different pattern now. So we're right down here. I'm going to turn, line up, come across my 2 inches. Rotate this around this way.
Here's a great question from Carol that happens right now what you're doing. Do you always leave your needle down when moving the template?
Yes, yes. You're always going to...
Just on this one or on all templates?
Well, I do on all templates unless it's something, but because I want to keep my place there. But yeah, that's a good question. On this, I definitely do. And you can see I'm lined up across there and I'm lined up here, but this would be a straight line beside a straight line. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to be doing this shape. And again, I can just line that up and start again. So I can hear that thing rattling. So this time we're going to give away another set of leaves because again we're giving away 22 prizes tonight. Gisela Garcia, I think I've pronounced it correctly. If this looks like you, you just need to email us your mailing address. All right, come down, line up on this side, straight line. I think you guys can see how easy this is and why I was so excited after pulling out that ugly quilt that I showed you at the beginning and seeing what I could do in 15 minutes, because that's like a lap size throw, and I only have probably about 2 more rows to go. So it goes rather quickly. You don't have to turn your fabric. You can if you want to, but you can absolutely do it going in reverse.
We've got a question. Is the pattern sewing random or balanced? So I think they're asking.
This one would be balanced because of the fact that here's the one over here. You can see that if I turn it this way, they go in diagonal rows. So yes, it's pretty well balanced.
Marjorie wants to say, this is just a general question. Do you recommend starting on small projects before doing a quilt?
I would definitely always, just like with this, I wouldn't have started with these templates on a large project, but when I say that, I'm just talking about do something small first, just so you get the hang of it. Maybe it's just scraps that you're working on, because you don't have to do a ton of stitching to get the hang of this, but see how much I've already done just in this short amount of time. So facing it this way, so you can see I've got this lined up. This is pushed against this side. Doesn't really matter which side. Needles lined up with that little green arrow. And I could take this back and go this way. I want you to be able to see what I'm doing, so I'm turning this around. And again, I need to start with that particular shape. Now, you could mix and match. You could take this row and do a different shape. You wouldn't have to do the same shape. I have a project that we're going to be doing in a class that I have mixed the shapes, and I did template quilting. So Megan will get that for me here in a minute, and I can show you that project.
So Dee says it looks like it quilts up fast, and Diana said this would be great on a border.
Yes, there's a lot of things you can do with it on a border, because you can even go sideways. When I say that, it's just doing this and then moving across that way. So you'll see here in a second what I'm referencing. And I know it looks like I'm running out of room, but I actually have one more line here to go. And so I'm going to come down here. You can see how it just lifts right through that pathway. So now I'm in that purple line again. I'm going to come across. I'm going to turn this around. The first one this time is the shape. So I'm going to go through there. And again, I can line that right up with where I was. But guess what? I'm not far enough across. I need to go like one more stitch, which turned into 3. It looks like I need to go one more. There we go. And it's always easier to get that adjusted and going before you find out. And obviously you're looking at it going, well, she's going to run off the edge. It doesn't matter, because the binding's going to be coming back there. So I'm going to come through here, line up with the needle, line up on this side.
So Marjorie just asked if she purchases the templates, will the videos be available? And I want to tell her yes, but also an exciting thing, we have been working on your YouTube site as well.
Oh yeah, if you go to the YouTube site, and Megan, what's the name of it?
Template Quilting with Donelle McAdams.
It's Template Quilting with Donelle McAdams. It's a YouTube site. We've got about 25 videos up there already, and we're putting them up as fast as we can. Yes, there will be information on this. So...
Oh, okay. So the question on the balance and the randomizing is because you are repeating sewing on one side.
Okay, great question. It depends on your thread, because on this one, you can hardly tell which is double and which is single. If you have a thread that you can really tell the difference, then you're going to want to like do every other one, but realize every other one's going to get mixed up in the process, because as you're going one way or another, you know, they're offset anyway. So it's probably really not going to matter. I try to go every other one, but it doesn't always happen that way. Now I'm down here. This is the last on this side, but rather than just stop here, I'm going to show you what it looks like. I am going to go back, and this is where I take my long ruler, which you guys have seen me use a lot, and I'm going to get back to the middle. I've got to get on the line first. But this is all going to be covered up by the binding, because I drew that 1/2 inch, and my binding's going to come around 3/4 of an inch. So now that we're back at the middle, I need to come my additional 2 inches. So I'm just going to go right back. And I'm happy to announce, you guys, I don't know if they're up on the website because I haven't looked, but you can now get these in colors. I don't know what colors. I know you can get the teal. I think you're going to love it because you can see them a whole lot easier. So I'm going to turn this, and this one doesn't have one, so I'm going to be doing the design. I need to go over just a speck to line up because I want this lined up. I don't want to have to fudge that. So I see what she's asking about. So like this one, I'm going to be on the left side. So the next one, I'll go to the right side. And I pretty much do that anytime that I'm using a template, even if it's just the circle or something else that I'm repeating, because I do repeat a lot in borders. So this one's going to go to this side.
So questions come up, and I think I understand what it is. How long does it take you to do this with this template from start to finish?
I think I made and cut out and did that whole first one in probably an hour. Probably took me 10 minutes to figure out the colors of my leaves. So probably an hour and 15 minutes. But that was because I had to figure out the color of my leaves and, you know, wind a bobbin and that kind of thing. But this goes really fast. And so I was thinking when I saw this, you know, it's not only a fall thing. Obviously, it can go right into Thanksgiving. And this is something that you could make and give, you know, as gifts to someone if you wanted. Because like I said, I'm looking at it as a candle mat, not necessarily as a placemat, although it's perfect for that because it's the same size.
Can you explain again? Gay has a long arm and wants to know how do you move the ruler foot through that narrow part. So explain again how you can do that.
I assume on the long arm you can lift your foot up just a little bit, but this is going to be able to slide underneath. You can see I'm just lifting up my foot. Now, maybe I don't understand a long arm.
I think he means maybe through that channel.
Right here, I understand that. But see, when I get to this right here, all I'm doing is lifting up the foot. So I don't, I don't know for sure. I think I've got, no, I'm okay. I don't know for sure on a long arm whether you can lift that foot or not. So that may be what I'm misunderstanding. So those of you out there that have long arms, can you lift the foot with the needle down?
Tell us again the name of these templates for those that have come in a little later.
This is my new set. They will be available next Saturday. And this is the Background Fills by Sobiz. Sobiz is the name that I started my business with in 1983. So we're just going to keep it at that. And I have patterns and things also, so that's why we decided to keep the tradition going, I guess. But I tell you what, I'm looking for things now that are a little bit larger that I can get out and start quilting, because these are now available. Because like I said, I wanted some all over patterns, not just like, you know, marking a square and doing a square each time. And I was doing this with other templates, but it was very time consuming because of the fact that I did not have that channel. And once you have that channel, it really makes it quick.
Fatima wants to know, can they order ahead of Saturday?
No, because it's not on the website yet. But I will see that it gets on there before next Saturday when we see each other again. And I will probably be showing you another project next week with this.
And Jackie wants to know, do you have other templates designs going as well?
They're in between the ears right now. Looks like I'm out of bobbin threads, so just a second here.
While you're doing that, I think we need to give another giveaway.
How about you do that, Megan?
I will. I'm shaking them all up. And we have Noel Fisher. Noel Fisher, if you're out there, you get a set of the leaves. That's what we're giving away right now is our leaves. So send us your email so that we can send those to you.
We'll put this underneath here so that they can see what we're talking about. This has 5 leaves on it, and so we're just giving away sets of those leaves. So Megan, why don't you give another one while I'm fixing this?
All right, pulling it out. Oops, just lost it. Jackie Roy. Jackie Roy, if you're out there.
I would assume she is, or she probably wouldn't be there, huh?
Well, yeah, I guess that was silly, sorry. So yeah, send us your email for another set of the leaves. You want me to do one more?
Yeah, and just so you guys know, I need to know your mailing address, and I don't want you to put that on here, so you just send it to my email, and I'll give it to you at the end, an email.
All right, and last one for right now, Judy Heineman. Judy Heineman, send us your email.
No, we need their mailing address.
Oh, their mailing address, sorry.
All right, guys, so I've quilted so much, I have run out of thread. Let's see here if I can get enough going. So we're going to be giving away, I don't know how many more, but I know we got 22 prizes tonight.
We're only that was only 5 so far.
All right. So what I'm going to do next is finish up these last 2 lines. I'm going to squeak every bit of thread I can off of this bobbin so that I don't have to wind. You guys, what I did was a bad thing. I wound thread on top of thread, and it was the same color thread, and I thought I had a pretty full bobbin. But that's okay, I got it now. I got enough to finish. Always make sure you get your bobbin threaded so it's in those tensions, because otherwise it is nasty, nasty, nasty. All right, pull this out. Look what it's looking like on the back, you guys. It's as pretty on the back as it is on the front.
Carmen has a great question. Do you need stable tape on these templates?
Yeah, I have stable tape on here. Right on the back up here, you can see my stable tape. Down here on the front, definitely. Definitely, definitely. Gosh, that matches so well, I can't tell where that's at. So let's see if I put this down.
For those that came in late, tell them how they can enter the drawing for the prizes. Or I can tell them. Go ahead and just comment. Give us some love. Give us some likes. And I will put your name over here in my box.
It's giving me beeps, so sometimes the best way to correct that is just turn everything off and let it recalibrate. But don't forget to put it back into your template setting stitching here.
They are loving the back. They said it's almost as pretty as the
It
front.
is. I think that color looks great on there. Uh-oh, I let go of my thread. Well, let's just do everything wrong today. I know you guys like to see it.
Is that the trick?
That's the trick. All right. Foot down. I got to find my spot, and it's so close in color. There we go. There we go. Okay, so foot down, needle down, and I'm going to go back in reverse for just a second, and this is not a reverse like touch the button reverse. It's just that I'm going to go back to seal that, and then to test to make sure I've got it right, we have other lines that go across that will touch that bottom. So I know I've got it in the right place. That would be almost impossible for you to see here, but when you get your set, you'll see what I'm talking about.
Carla wants to know, are you going to make more of these templates with larger and smaller sizes?
I am certainly giving that thought because small and larger sizes would be great. After seeing how nice these work, I am super pumped at the possibilities. Now, for those of you that are watching, I went the same way, so I'm going to return this way.
I love what June said. This is better than sliced bread.
Well, I think so too, June, because, like I said, I wanted something more than just cross-hatching that I could do in my backgrounds. So unfortunately, I can't just stop because I want to bind this so you can see how that works. And I need to complete this. It's just one more row. And I think you can see that it goes pretty fast. So while I'm doing that, Megan's going to pull 3 more names.
Okay.
This is for leaves, a set of leaves.
2. All right. Here we go. So for the last sets of leaves, we've got Gidget Carter.
Gidget Carter, congratulations.
Woo! Susan Digman. You will be getting a set of leaves. And June Denor. I think I said that right.
Uh-huh. Is that all the leaves?
Let me count. I'm going to have to count them up. I think we
She
might
got
have
it.
a few more.
I was going to say, I think we probably got...
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I got 2 more to give away.
All right, 2 more sets of leaves.
All right. You want me to give them away now?
Go right ahead.
Okay. This is for Sandra Mugmon. I think I said that right. Sandra Mugmon. And Joan Arnold.
All
And what
right.
do they have to do again? They just...
All you need to do is, my email is sewbizmarian. No. Sewbiz, SEWBIZ, at indy.rr.com. And I think Megan's putting that in the notes there. You just say, hey, I want leaves, Donelle. Here's my address. Now all I'm doing is securing my thread there so that I can go ahead and cut that. And I've got one that I need to tie right over here, I think. right here at the bottom. So for those of you that have not seen the way I'm doing this is kind of a little different than what I started. But what I'm doing is I'm just taking this and going through the loop so that I've got a loop there, and I put my point through the needle and come about 1/4 of an inch away and pull that down tight and then let go of it. And so right here is where the knot is. And so then when I put that through my side threading needle, I just go right into the very spot, hide it in there, pull that through, and that little knot, which is right there, I'm just going to give it a tug, and it goes right underneath the fabric. And that's done with those cinch side threading needles, and that way it looks the same on the top as it does on the back. So there's what the back looks like. You can see those diamonds going across there. And yes, they are in a pattern, and all I did was have that line in the center and my little lines across the bottom and the top so that I knew where to turn. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to step over to my cutting mat, and I'm just going to be cutting this so I leave 1.5 inches all the way around. So I'm going to do that. Megan's going to be calling some names here and showing you. And the next 10 people are going to win a notions necklace. And a notions necklace looks like this. I've got mine with my spacing gauge on it. You could put scissors on it because this goes around your neck, but you can push on that button and you can take that off so that you can use your spacing gauge. Now it's going to be random colors. I have not any idea who's going to get what color, but we have 10 of those we're going to give away, and I'm going to go ahead and let her do 5 of them while I'm cutting.
All right, so I'm mixing up your names in my little witch's pot here because you know it's Halloween. So, and we have Sandra Shane Watterson. You are our first winner of a Notions necklace. That's so cool. All right, our next one, Linda Martindale. Linda Martindale. You are our second winner for a Notions necklace. Woohoo! So excited. All right, I'm gonna mix them up again. Okay, I now have, oh, I hope I say this right, Connie Bobkick. All right, and I got 2 more. Y'all like my nail color. Thanks, it's because I'm a black cat, so I got black nail polish on. Janice Tucker. Janice, you are going to get a Notions necklace. And one last one. I'm going to mix it up real good. We have Barbara Payton. Barbara Payton, you are our 5th winner for a Notions necklace. And I'll pop the email on there again, and we will just have you put in winner for the subject title. And you're going to tell us your mailing address so we can send these off to you. And some of you are asking how you can get into the drawing. You just comment. So you just put your comments in here. I'm over here writing your names down, putting them in. And Mom's still over there ironing, so I'm going to show you this beautiful, this is the finished project. It is so pretty. So don't fret, there are still more giveaways to come. Aren't they so pretty? I just love them. And some of you said you want to see the back. We'll show you the back. So pretty.
All right, I did 2 steps while I was away. Not the 2-step, but I did 2 steps. And so what I did was I prepared this for turning the back to the front. So I cut it so it was 1.5 inches all the way around, And then I simply press that cut edge up to the edge of my front fabric. Now, this is going to be, we're going to give away 2 of these tonight. And this is one of my quilting tools. This is a quick, easy miter binding tool. And some of you have seen this, some of you haven't, but I'm going to show you how fast and easy this is to use. So on the template, there is a corner. So it's like the corner of your quilt. You lay that right on the corner of what your actual front project is. Now, if you had a border and it had a half square triangle or some sort of piecing that only has an allowance for 1/4 of an inch, we don't want to turn this over that and lose that. So you would have left your batting an additional 1/2 inch. The batting would have been an additional 1/2 inch. And so if I get a chance, I'll look over here in the drawer and see if I've got my sample to show that part. But I'm going to put this right here on this corner like this. And I am going to take my iron off Pounce pen here, because I can just draw right on there. And then I draw this and this. Now I can tell you my instructions are all very well pictured. So this is an easy thing to do. And it makes it so much faster than if you had to do an add-on binding. So Megan, if you get a chance, in the center set of drawers on the top there, I believe I have my little sample.
Okay.
Not of this, but of leaving the extra 1/2 inch.
This?
No, there should be a little piece. It might be in that tub there. So I've marked all of those corners.
This one?
No, it's only about like this, Megan.
Oh, okay. I'll keep looking.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it to the back, and then I pull this up, and I'm going to only need 1 straight pin.
This one?
Yes, that's what I need. Let me show them this, and then I'll show that. So I'm going to put that straight pin right there where that intersection is. You can see the line here and the line here. And so when I do that, on the back, I got lucky, you guys. It's right in the right spot. But if I didn't, I would have pulled that off. And now I turn this back like so. Now, this is what it would look like if you had something where you had this 1/4 of an inch. I leave my batting longer, cut this 1.5 inches out from the batting, so then when I turn it, it comes right to that spot and allows me to then keep my point, and nobody has to know that underneath there's not fabric, because when I stitch this down, it's going to catch all of that. So yeah, that makes it so that you can actually do the same technique.
They want to know what your marking ruler was that you, or your marking pen that you used.
Okay. This is by the same company that makes the Pounce iron-off chalk that we put in our chalkoneer. I don't much like to use the chalk on this because it sometimes smears by the time I'm done. But this irons off the same way. I sharpen this in a crayon sharpener, but it's called the Ultimate Marking Pencil. But it is an iron-off marker, and like I said, it makes it very easy to iron off. It doesn't matter because it's on the inside on this, but it will work. If you can't locate it at your local quilt store, send me an email. I'll get you fixed up. So I'm going to take this foot off because we're finished quilting for today. And I'm going to put on my regular foot. And I always take the extra measure of using a screwdriver to tighten it up because you don't want your foot to come loose. So just give it a little extra tightness there. And I'm simply right now going to set it for straight stitch. And we are going to be stitching just the part from the pen to the fold, but we definitely want it to back stitch. So I'm going to set that down, and I'm going to stitch forward a few stitches. I always like to stitch forward before I tell something to back stitch. And now I am right at that pen, and I'm going to come forward again to the fold, and I'm going to slowly go back about halfway into that. And then I just simply cut that. I did not stitch over my pen. I went to the pen. And so now I'm going to cut this like that and across that tip. I'm going to the next one, and I'm going to repeat the same process. Fold it towards the back, go into that spot. Didn't get it that time. Pick it off of there and put it back in. We want it exact. You can do this on all sizes of quilts. I do not do it on like any of like an heirloom quilt or something like that, but like those baby quilts, wall hangings. One more stitch there. Placemats are so much faster. Anything like that, it just makes it easy. Cut off that little tip again. And this is to the back. Do we have any questions, Megan, while I'm doing this? That one was good.
Some of them want to know if they'll be able to find this on your YouTube. It will probably be there later this weekend. It takes me a little bit to transfer it, but I will get it there.
And this, as far as this technique, it is on my website. Just don't mind the age of it. We've got to update it. And it has nothing to do with the technique. It has everything to do with the clothes the person is wearing.
It's not the clothes. It's just the technology and how much...
Well, we got to do it again, so it's good.
Yeah. You did tell them the name of the marking pencil, correct?
I did. It's the Ultimate Quilting Pencil.
Some of them are saying their Christmas list gets longer every...
Yeah, and you know what? That is awesome, though, because people want to get you what you want. So that is perfect. So I'm going to set this here. This is the last one. We're going to back stitch to that pen, straight pin. One more stitch. I go pretty slow in reverse. Cut that thread, and you're just, if you've not seen this, you're just going to love it because it is so easy. So I'm just going to clip that corner off there, doing it every single time. I'm going to get my point turner, flip this over, and now when I push out these points,
Cindy says, I'm getting gift cards to Sew Steady.
you can see now that we have our perfect mitered corner here. So we're just going to go around and push all of those out.
Beth wants to know, can you get your centering ruler on the Sew Steady site?
No, that would be on my website, sewbizmarian.com. And that's also where you would get my Quick Easy Miter binding tool if you're not one of the lucky 2 that win it today. Okay, so I've got those pushed out. I'm going to come to the middle, and this has nothing to do with template quilting, but if you don't have the little wonder clips, you got to get them because they are so easy and so much faster than messing with pens. And so these are the little minis. I come again, I'm going down here to the middle of this side. I always like to work from the middle to the corner. We surely appreciate you spending Halloween night with us. We know you could be out collecting candy. We just said to each other, what are we going to do if we get trick-or-treaters? We're over in the studio, so they won't know to find us over here anyway. But Megan's answer was, turn out the light.
And really, it's because we don't have candy at home.
Yeah, that's the reason I said, what are we going to do? Because we don't have any candy at home. Because if we did, we'd eat it. All right. So now, once we've got this done, we're going to select a narrow zigzag, and we are just going to use the very edge and catch that. This isn't pushed out enough, and the reason I can tell is because it doesn't want to lay correctly. So I got to get back in there and figure out. There we go. And now it'll lay down nice.
Aww, some of them are saying that they have canceled trick-or-treating.
Aww. Ours has changed. I don't know exactly. They're still out in neighborhoods, but the rules have changed, that's for sure. Our church usually does a trunk or treat, and that got canceled. The kids have a great time with a hayride and all of that. So now what I'm going to be doing...
Giselle says, this is better than candy anyway.
Oh, yeah, this is eye candy. So you can see I've got a mark on my foot there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select my zigzag on this particular machine that works a little farther to the right. And so what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to narrow it down. I think I've got what I want. And I'm going to go ahead. Oops, I don't want this thread. Woo, glad I caught that. So what I'm going to put in here is my brown thread, because I want to match that fabric.
Some of them say they keep chocolate in their studio or in their sewing cabinet.
Oh, I know, M&Ms are perfect. We have today, one of Megan's friends gave her a bag of Sour Patch Kids. So I'd never had Sour Patch Kids, but I kind of like them, I hate to say. Megan, where's my brown thread? Is it over on, oh, can you hop over there?
Hop over and get it? Okay.
Yeah.
I saw some of our friends are doing virtual trick-or-treating with their grandkids. That's kind of cool.
We just had one of our friends, their daughter is like, fifth
She's
grade?
10. Yeah.
10, fifth grade, and she's going as the Mad Hatter and had the cutest costume. I love cute costumes. I don't like scary ones. If we talk about reminiscing back when I was a kid, you just went to your closet, maybe Dad's closet, maybe Mom's closet, and got some stuff. That was how we trick-or-treated. A few pillows here. All right.
Carol wants to know, will you change your bobbin case?
No, I don't. I have not had any issues using the same bobbin case. So I don't know. I know a lot of people talk about that, but I've not had any issues. So I'm doing a narrow zigzag, and I'm following right along the edge there. But in this case, I selected the needle position in the right position to do my zigzag. And the reason I use a zigzag versus a straight stitch is because it's much more forgiving. And with a straight stitch, you can seem to have like a buildup. It just kind of keeps moving your fabric forward, where there's just a little bit more give in a straight stitch. You can see how nice and flat that lays. So right here, it looks like I need to go one more stitch.
Sharon wants to know what the green mat is you're using and why are you using it?
Okay, perfect. That is my free motion glider. This one is called the grid glider because it has that grid on it. And you can see it's got a big opening, so my feed teeth are able to be accessed. So I can pretty much leave it on all the time. And so it makes it so nice for your fabric to just easily glide across the bed of your sewing machine. Now, those of you that know me know that I sew at a medium speed when I'm template quilting, but I don't have to sew at a medium speed when I'm doing this.
You might have said this, but Kathy has a question. Are you zigzagging only on the binding, or are you catching the front fabric as well?
It's right on the edge. It's actually all on the binding. It wouldn't matter if it was off on the edge. I'll show you here in a second. If you have with your machine, which is what I have on one of my other machines, what's called a left edge top stitch foot, it's perfect for this also. You can also use like your blind hem foot. I use this one on this machine because it has that little red arrow and I can just guide right along that. Raise the foot. I need to go one more stitch so you can see what I'm doing. I'm just going at a diagonal, and that'll get me where I need to go. But use your feet and learn how to make it easy for you, because obviously that's what the extra accessory feet are for. This machine came with like 21 feet, and there's like a foot for every purpose in the world, and probably then some.
Carla wants to know, do you polish your glider before you do these kind of projects?
You can polish it. I recommend you polish it every now and then for sure, even for your template quilting. It's a good idea to polish it with the table polish, the table and insert polish that Sew Steady sells. Don't polish your table with any kind of glass cleaner. You don't want to do that. So right here's where I'm coming back to.
What's
Now,
your stitch setting?
That's hard to say for a zigzag. It's a narrow zigzag. This one is 2.0 wide and 1.6 long, but that is so random for most machines. I have a little pucker coming up, and so what I'm going to do is I just take this piece and I just kind of set it underneath there, and you could use even the point turner, a stylus, something like that. And when I get back on a zigzag, I set it for a straight stitch, and it moves into the straight stitch position, and I'm going to stitch a few stitches forward and a few stitches back, because that will secure it. A zigzag is very difficult to secure with a back stitch, but a little straight stitch, gosh, I can't even see where I did it, so I'm not even going to have to cut off a thread. So just like that, we have finished that mat. We have these nice mitered corners. I'm going to now set my pressing mat. It looks bad, you guys, but I use it all the time. Looks is not going to matter. And remind me, Megan, I just lost something on the floor.
Okay.
So I'm going to set this mat over on my tray because we've got to get our leaves on here. So Megan's my one who places the leaves. So Megan, get me some leaves.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to press around this while she's getting those. And I recommend that you take the backs off of the leaves before you place them on there, because when you get them on there, there's no reason to have to pick them back up.
You know, there was a question earlier that I missed, and I just now remembered it. Do you have to start with the center line when you're doing your design, or can you beat any line?
You could start anywhere, but it's going to be, it's just, oh, I got to press my center line out. There we go. It's just, you just want something that, I started in the center, so I got the same spacing on both sides over here. So by working from the center out, I got that same spacing. So now she's peeled off the back of the leaves, okay? They've got heat and bond, regular heat and bond on them. And she's placing them on here. Oops. I think I want them so that that's underneath something, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Sometimes I gotta play with it, sorry. How's that?
And this is kind of what you'll do. You'll just play to see what you like. And then like right here, there's a piece underneath, so you want to get that flap out. And then if you're satisfied with what you got there, it's just a matter of taking your iron. And because that's going to be the heat and bond regular when you guys get these, you don't have to do any stitching. Now, if you decide you want to do these and you want to stitch, then don't use anything like that. Use the heat and bond light, or use like Wonder Under, something that's intended to be stitched through. But what I'm going to be sending out is not intended to be stitched through. So we've got that corner done. And now we're going to do two up in this corner. I was going to ask if you had one of those pretty green ones.
Yes, I do. These oak leaves are kind of hard. They like to curl.
Probably do in real nature too.
Yeah, that's true.
So we want to get them so that they're laid out flat.
Michelle wants to know what your small iron is called.
That is my little steam fast. And it actually has a well in it so that you can put water in so that it can steam. You can see it's got its holes on the back there. And the steamer button is right on the side.
And a lot of them are asking, they want to stitch it. You can stitch this if they want.
You can stitch this, but not with the ones I send you, because they're going to have the heat and bond heavy on them. Unless, if you're a winner, you could request the other, I guess. There we go. So now we have two almost matching, but not exactly matching.
Because leaves don't always match.
It's right. We didn't intend for them to match. We've got one there. Let's get rid of this and I can slide it underneath there. And then this is the other one. So you can see how fast we got that done. And if you have an AccuQuilt, you're going to be able to cut leaves if you have the leaf pattern. We had pumpkins too, but we decided that we liked the leaves. The pumpkins were a little bit big for this. And so I have one more thing to show you, and that is my placemat up there. And this is available on the Sew Steady site. And it's called Trim the Table. I just finished this one because I used my background fills. And so this is the ornament. And then this is a round napkin that has been folded to look like a tree that goes with it. And this has all been done with the templates, and then I used the circle sewing feature of the machine to actually stitch that circle. So this was the background fills here. You recognize this one, obviously the circle. So I template quilted across. And I actually did it with metallic thread. So you can see it
And
there.
it's so pretty.
So that was done with Template Quilting. So I am so excited that you joined me tonight so that you could see our new background fills. Remember, they will be available next week. I'll have the order number and everything for you. Just giving you a sneak peek. Hope you love them.
We still have
And we
5.
still have prizes to give away.
Yes, we do.
And while we're doing that, I'm going to leave this here because that's what I used for the candle mat. So we have 5 neck lanyards, cherry or sherry, capstro. You're a winner of one of the necklaces. Genie heart.
Go back. There you go.
Roseanne Creason. Big in there. I've got it too close. There you go. Simone Gallant. And last but not least, Rita Skinner. Now we have 2 grand prizes, and we're going to put everybody's name back in because we wanted it to be fair. And that is for the Quick Easy Miter binding tool.
Okay,
and
you did that. I'm going to have to write names down because I didn't have these all.
that's okay.
Okay, all right.
Just throw them in, we'll sort them out. Okay, I wanted you to see the decorations, the instructions. I'm so decorated up around me, I'm thinking decorations, so that you can see this is what I showed you just a while ago. It's pictured, and you've got pictures for all of that. And so let's pull out our winners. Peggy Justice. Peggy, you win one of those. And Lily Brewer. So if you were a winner, please make sure that you find the address. I'll go ahead and repeat it. It's sobiz@indy.rr.com, and you're simply going to say, I won, and whatever it was you won, and send me your address so I can get them mailed out. And trust me, I like to get it done on Monday, so if you can take the time to shoot me that address now, that would be great. So congratulations, everyone that's a winner, and thank you for joining me for Halloween Tricks and Treats with So Steady. We thank them for the door prizes, and hopefully you'll have a great weekend, and I'm glad that you're excited about these new templates. Megan and I will see you next week for, I don't know, more with the new templates, I imagine. Happy Halloween!